Hello, welcome if you're new here. My name is Ilsa. I'm a mama of 6, currently homeschooling my 3 younger children, and we are about to get started up again. In 2 weeks, we'll be starting with our new year 2023-24 homeschooling, and I have just been in planning preparation mode, and I've been sharing our journey over on Instagram and here on YouTube, and I've gotten a lot of questions asking how we homeschool with a 2.5-year-old. And I'll tell you, some days can be extremely chaotic. Some mornings feel as if we're not going to get anything done. And what I've learned is if you prepare, your morning will go so much smoother. So what I've been doing is invitation to play, setting up activities. I do have a 13-year-old and a 4-year-old. So my 13-year-old is in 8th grade. My 4-year-old will be doing kindergarten curriculum. So his days are a little bit more organized and prepped. But for my 2.5-year-old, he just wants to be involved. And although he wants to be involved, let's be real. 2.5-year-olds do not have a long attention span, so we have to just keep them entertained. And I can't stop what I'm doing every 5 minutes to just give him something that's going to keep him entertained. So I have decided to prep him a morning basket to keep him busy, because I've talked a lot about invitation to play, Montessori play, hands-on learning, and I love all those methods. I believe that it helps the child focus and learn through play. So we're doing colors and numbers and letters, and right now we're focusing on the first letter of his name, which starts with an E. So I have decided if I'm setting up a morning basket for my 13-year-old and my 4-year-old, I should set one up for him so it keeps him occupied. So we do read aloud as a family, we will do Bible time as a family, we will have breakfast together. But once the 2 older boys get settled into their morning routine of language arts or science or math or things like that, I want my toddler, my 2.5-year-old, to feel involved and be engaged. I want him to have something that's going to keep him occupied and not be so disruptive. Although nothing will always go as planned, because that's life and 2-year-olds are unpredictable, but you just got to roll with it. So rather than set up a whole basket, I came across this shower caddy last year in Target, and it was $5, and I had purchased one for both my 2 younger children, and they've been using it just for coloring books, keeping things a little organized. But I decided to clear it out and just introduce him to a more structured play environment, just to keep him feeling involved, right? So that he feels like, okay, it's time to sit down and work, and I'll just pull his little morning caddy basket out on the table or on the living room floor and allow him to invite him to play. So we're going to be doing the letter E. So in these little pocket folders here, I put this letter E, which has a picture of eggs. They're dry erase, so he'll be practicing on that. And I don't expect him to trace the letter E perfectly. I don't expect him to even want to trace the letter E, but this is just inviting him to learn that this is the letter E. And the E sound we're going to practice because it's the first letter in his name. And then here we have the color green, and then he can try to trace the word green and look for words, pictures that are the color green. And on the opposite side, in a green construction paper, I just wrote out his name, and then I'll give him a dry erase marker and he could try to trace it, just so he starts recognizing the letters in his name and focusing on the color green. So here I've added just some green envelopes that he can color, or just slip some things inside just to know that E for envelope, green, because that's what we're working on. We have some flashcards with the letter E and an elephant. We do have elephants here with the number 5. We're not working specifically on the number 5, but I like this card because it has elephants in it. Then we have a square that is green with a book inside of it. Like I said, we're focusing on the color green and the letter E. So green and E is what our focus is. I also added this elephant book, and I don't expect him to read, but there are so many amazing pictures in here. And my son, my little guy, is obsessed with elephants. Like, he is obsessed with elephants, and it's perfect because E's the first letter in his name, E for elephants, all the things just going together. This is not green, but it is really cute. I got this for my older son, and it's just the alphabet. So all the alphabet here, from A through Z, and I figure it's very colorful. Most kids like Elmo, so he can just practice his letters. This is just to keep him engaged. Like I said, I've added some coloring books that are not related to the color green or the letter E, but because we'll be doing Bible study and we'll read our Bible, this is just to have him engaged and learning some names of important people in the Bible, a little notepad. These are just simple things that you can find inexpensive that are going to keep your younger children engaged and busy while you're working with your older kids. Now, will it keep him busy for hours on end? Probably not. 2-year-olds are high energy and they just want to be in everything. Just a small little puzzle that has different shapes because I want him to get used to learning all his shapes. Again, they're not all green, but that's fine because it's just hands-on play, being introduced to different shapes, colors, textures. And here is a little puzzle that has numbers 0 through 9 in it. He can even create the 10 if he wanted to with that once he gets that. So this is really cute. I believe this is Melissa and Doug. I had bought this on Amazon for my older toddler, my 4.5-year-old. And then this little container is filled with little green pieces. And I thought it was great because these are shapes, so then he can see the shapes, and they're green, right? Because we're focusing on the green. These are just laminated eggs that I have for another activity that he's been playing with, but they're eggs, so he can know that eggs start with the letter green. And as he's playing with these things, I'll come over with him, sit with him and just ask him questions, asking what color is this? How many pieces do you have? What shape is this? Keep him engaged, let him know that he's still learning, even though the older kids are doing other things, he can still be part of it, right? We're all a team, we're working together. And these are just erasers, color green, and then I'll give him a pencil and show him how they work. These little cubes that my 4-year-old is using for math, like math manipulatives. So these are great. I just pulled out the green and I threw them in here because he's working on the greens. And then these are little rhinos, which don't start with the letter E, but I thought they were really cute because they're also for my 4-year-old's math manipulatives, but they're green. And then he can just count them out, put them in this little bowl, and we're just staying to a theme here, sticking to a theme, something that's going to keep him engaged and excited. I haven't decided how long I'll keep the same color and letter in his morning basket bin, but I wanted just to have that there for him. I also added some green crayons, different shades of green, just so that he can have something maybe to color on his envelopes and things like that. And in here, what I actually added too for his writing activity is a dry erase marker, and I had a green one, so I decided to put a green dry erase marker here. He'll be able to do that. I'll give him like a paper towel. He'll know to learn to erase it and clean up. So I thought this was really a good idea because I know that we're planning for the older kids, and I don't want my younger one to just feel like left out or that he doesn't have anything to keep him busy. And then when they're not busy, little ones tend to just do things that they shouldn't be doing, and they get very, very active and disruptive. And fortunately, he does take a nap, so hopefully we can get more done while he's napping. But I thought this was a really good idea to just put it in. Again, this shower caddy was from last year from Target, the dollar spot at Target, and it came in handy. So I'll add all that in there, all his puzzles and all his manipulatives, and he'll be working so he doesn't feel left out. And when you invite a child to play, they're less likely to interrupt every 5 minutes, asking what to do, what can I do, what can I have, can I get a pencil, all the things. So as time goes on, I might add some green color pencils, some extra markers, things like that, but we're focusing on the letter E. And this printout did come from my older son's curriculum that I did preschool, the classical preschool I did with him last year, so I'm just reusing it. This is what's great about these folders, that they're dry erase and you just slip it in there and nothing gets ruined. You can reuse them for other children that you may have, but you can easily print those up maybe on Canva. There are a lot of free resources. I will add some below, and print it up and just have your preschooler stay busy, stay active. We're not big screen people, so I try to just give him things to just focus on, and I hope that was helpful. I hope that I answered your question of how we homeschool with a preschooler, a 2.5-year-old who is full of energy. Thank you for watching.